Remember when I said Braeden Cootes is the next Sam Bennett? Yeah, I didn't know I meant the next 18-year-old Sam Bennett. Remember that? Now let's talk about him, Filip Chytil, and Terry Fox on today's episode of Locked On Canucks.
The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, happy Friday and welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks, also a Canucks writer for Daily Hive, Vancouver. And Kyle, day 2 of camp is in the books, and one of the things I said yesterday is that I was kind of surprised how chill it was. Like, there were some guys skating, some guys hustling, but a lot of standing around. Today was not that day. Today was intense. There was guys' bodies, some scrums in front. I'll get to some of my notes on that, but definitely an intense day of camp. But two guys who really stood out for the Vancouver Canucks, Braeden Cootes and Filip Chytil. So, Kyle, maybe our center position's okay after all.
And maybe Adam Foote shoved his foot up the asses of all the players before the day 2 started. You see what I did there? And broadcasting school and podcasting school, if that's such a thing, that's probably a thing now. BCIT, there's definitely a podcasting class. That's called a play on words. Okay? That's also called a segue. And again, this is Locked On Canucks. My name is Kyle Bound. That guy, Trevor Beggs. One love to the Don't Do's Art Lab for giving us a space to give you that West Coast bias. And one love to Braeden Cootes and Filip Chytil and just bringing it, and being standouts. And this is day 2 of Braeden Cootes being a guy. And again, it's training camp, and guys like Braeden Cootes, an 18-year-old, he's so excited, got adrenaline more so than anyone else. Like, to a point, it's like, obviously he would bring it, but man, oh man, it's something to talk about. And I'm curious to see what you saw on the ice up close and personal. And yeah, Filip Chytil, man, all smiles, super humble, bringing speed, bringing tenacity. I'm excited to see him just do more just stuff throughout the preseason and kind of prove again all the doubters wrong. We touched on it a bit yesterday, so maybe we'll just stash that to the side for a bit, because again, I want to start with Braeden Cootes. I know it sounds like Mission Impossible. Picks from 10 to 30 in the first round never really make the NHL right away. A lot of people are predicting that maybe he does have a chance, and they're kind of tying that into the Canucks predicament where they don't have a right-handed center. They also don't have a lot of centers. But Trevor, there's more to this, right? It's not just because this is circumstance. This probably has a lot to do with Braeden Cootes being a lot better than where he got drafted.
Yeah, look, and again, I said it yesterday. It's very early days, and you got to be careful not to jump to too many sweeping conclusions. But it's fair to say that Braeden Cootes has looked good out there. And Kyle, let me tell you about who he was going against in drills today. So the Canucks would do a drill where a forward group would skate in against another forward group, and they would battle, try to get to the puck to the net, circle back up. Other group would go the same way. Braeden Cootes and his line mates were up against Pettersson, DeBrusk, and Besser. And Cootes held his own, right? So it was impressive to see. There was one play where, I was kind of downstairs, waiting for media, so I didn't get a clear book, but it looks like he checked Elias Pettersson and stole the puck from him, to be honest with you. Again, just a really impressive day for Braeden Cootes. Again, he looks just as fast as some of the NHL guys out there. I know Thomas Drance said he has special speed, and Drance is more of a skating mechanics nerd than I am. But Cootes looks like he's got NHL speed. He's certainly keeping up with the guys. Doesn't look like he's laboring, or doesn't look like he's working too hard with his stride out there. I do want to pump the brakes a little bit, just because I don't know if Cootes at this moment, after 2 days of camp, is ready to make the Canucks. Right? I think people are going to be like, "Oh, time for Cootes, 9-game trial. Let's go." Let's see him play in some preseason games first, but through 2 days of camp, absolutely, Braeden Cootes has surpassed expectations, I would say.
Why, if he deserves it, why not give him the 9-game run? Maybe.
Yeah, if he deserves it, I'm just saying, give him some preseason games, right? We're 2 days into camp, give him some preseason games, see how he does.
Yeah, and if he does make it, it does motivate a guy like Aatu Ratu even more to get it together ASAP, right? That's some internal motivation that is good for this type of club. And let's not forget, a lot of people, when Braeden Cootes got drafted, I mean, that's the first time I ever heard of this guy. Not gonna lie, my name's Kyle Bowen, just a fan, not a media member, not an expert. But man, oh man, a lot of people gave a lot of appreciation towards, his leadership ability, his hockey nerdism, like how much passion he has for the game of hockey. And then, yeah, you talk about the speed, you talk about his two-way ability, and you talk about his tenacity too. Like, uh, this guy's not going to not try his ass off, shift in and shift out. And I'm not surprised that, yeah, obviously it's training camp and an 18-year-old is going to stand out and do his best, but he seems like the type of guy to work his ass off in practices in general anyways. Like, again, he's a leader, he's a tone setter, and the high character guy. I know Rick Dollywell mentioned that earlier this morning too. And you know what? I started feeling more optimistic about this when I heard Harmon yesterday rave about his speed and his shot. And I know Harmon didn't bring this word up, but like his humility, like I feel as if there's at least, if anything, proof that the Canucks made a great decision not trading that first round pick and Jonathan Lecker-Mackey for Marco Rossi. Like there's like some of that energy out there where it's like, yo, we kind of needed a guy like this. And I'm not going to compare him to Bo Horvat. I already compared him to Sam Bennett. If you look at the one clip they showed around draft time when he got drafted, where he scored a shorthanded goal, got knocked down into the net, gets back up, starts a brouhaha. Like, he has that piece of shit in him too. But comparisons aside, I'm just glad that we have him, because there was a chance not too long ago that Braeden Cootes isn't here.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, early days is the 2025 draft. We'll see how the other guys that maybe the Canucks pass on perform, but he seems like he was a good value pick there. And even the doubters among scouts kind of had him in that like 22 to 23 range, just because they didn't necessarily believe in the ceiling. But what we knew about Braeden Cootes coming into camp is, mature for his age. I mean, he was the youngest captain in the WHL for a good reason, by the looks of it. I mean, Kyle, the only thing I was captain of when I was 17 years old was at the Skip School Club, okay? And Braeden Cootes is captaining a team of guys who are mostly older than him. So, I mean, that's impressive in itself right there. He was also lauded for his work ethic too. And yeah, that's come through in camp. Absolutely. So yeah, again, early returns right now, but you really got to like what you're seeing from Braeden Cootes. And maybe Thomas Durant who said that he thought he was the Canucks' best prospect. At the time, I was going like, I don't know, but in camp, if we look at the Canucks' top three guys, maybe even top four if you want to throw DPD in the mix. So Braeden Cootes, Jonathan Lecker-Mackey, DPD, and Tom Willander. If I'm power ranking these guys, and I'll preface by saying I don't think any of them have been bad by any means. I thought Willander had some good moments today, Lecker-Mackey too. But if I'm power ranking the guys based on how they played so far in training camp, I'd probably go Cootes, DPD, Willander, and then Lecker-Mackey.
That's beautiful. That's a good thing. And not to put too much pressure on him, even though, again, I already compared him to future future.
No pressure the next Sam Bennett.
Next Sam Bennett. But yo, remember, we had to deal with like the 18-year-old Sam Bennett. Again, top 5 pick, a lot of pedigree at the time for Sam Bennett. He could, there was pundits early on, I guess before his draft year, they thought he was going to go number 1. So there was way more expectations with Sam Bennett. But dude, I don't know. Like we've experienced an 18-year-old, do some, not like light the world on fire on an NHL team when Sam Bennett was on the Calgary Flames, but make an impact. Like Sam Bennett destroyed us in that first round series against Calgary way back when. And again, if you look at the intangibles, I mean, Braeden Cootes may not have the size right now. He may not have the offensive flair. He may not have, the puck skills yet to match the pace of the game. But he does strike me as a guy that has a motor, like an extreme motor. And maybe that ties well with like a Niels Höglander or a Garland or whatever it may be. It's an interesting situation. And again, I just want to preface that Canucks fans, it's looking like we made the right decision. Like Alvin, Rutherford, I guess like if it wasn't Mason McTavish, there's no way you were getting the top prospects from this club. And that's a good thing. And speaking of the high character thing, Trevor, I think transitioning from like the JT Millers of the world, it's because JT Miller was going to be here for like 8 years, right? Like he signed a 7-year deal. Different type of leader, different type of character, different type of persona. It's I don't know, just more Bo Horvat-ish, or just more polar opposite to have a guy like Braeden Cootes here. And I know Cootes is only 18 and he has a long way to go, and he might change. Like, everyone changes, but by the early signs, he seems to be more aligned with like the type of guy Quinn Hughes is. like the type of guy that Thatcher Demko is. Stoic, cerebral, super, 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 super serious. And again, a high character guy.
Yeah, I mean, the Bo Horvat thing is actually very interesting, right? Like, even when you look at their scoring profiles in the junior leagues or the CHL, it's like Sam Bennett was like 91 points in 57 games. Like, he tore it up in his draft year. Bo Horvat, though, like, very similar production to Braeden Cootes. They both have, those two-way details in their game, both kind of touted as leaders at a young age. I could see, again, they're different players. Like, Cootes is smaller and he's quicker than Horvat was. But there's similarities between the two guys. So could Cootes be a quicker version, maybe less physical? Bo Horvat's never really that physical, but just strong in battles. But similar to Bo Horvat, like, I could absolutely see that right now.
Right to left, Jameis.
Yeah, it's, again, just a beautiful problem to have. Like, not a problem, sorry. Like, I guess the problem would be him making the lineup too early and people being concerned that we ruined his development, right? Or the problem would be people thinking that the Canucks plan B to not acquiring a second line center was like seeing if they could hit the lottery with Aatu Ratu or Braeden Cootes being that guy. But at the end of the day, if this guy just knocks the door down and, gets more experience, whether that be an extra 9 games that we didn't expect, or maybe who knows? Like, we never know. We never know. This is sports, man. I just watched the movie Him. We'll talk more about that later. You just never, ever know. And, him being, again, him being in a dressing room where Quinn Hughes is there, where, again, you have another guy that's like super duper uber serious and is such a professional, it kind of lines up with him. And that could lead to more efficiency when it comes to him understanding what it takes to be a pro. Because, again, we're talking about a hockey addict here. We're not talking about a guy with an ego or a guy with any doubt in where he's going to go. Like, you brought up Kratsov yesterday and how he doesn't know where he's going to go. Like, he's not super confident, in what's going to happen in training camp. And look at way back in the day when we drafted a guy like Jake Virtanen and like immaturity, right? Like, not being completely professional right away because, he's young and he's probably leaning into like, oh, I'm 18. I made the NHL, like having the ego and but I have time. Whereas Braeden Cootes has given me like, I'm staying in the moment. I'm going to do my best at this practice and let's see where this goes. And Harmon also brought up a good point too. He's even aware that like, and I'm paraphrasing just a bit, that it may not work out ASAP in the NHL because he's not big enough right now. He's not strong enough. Like, he's exerting a lot of energy. Because, again, he's a tenacious player. He's exerting so much energy along the boards when trying to retrieve pucks. And that's just in training camp, like going up against a Brock Besser and whatnot and, retrieving a puck. And, like, he could do it, but because he probably has to work twice as harder because he's still a kid, he's not able to do all the other things he wants to do with his legs and all that jazz. So he's aware, he's in the moment. And, Trevor, dare I say it, I'm sorry. I grew up watching Don Cherry, good old Canadian kid. Good old Canadian kid, and that's all we wanted. Trevor, I know, I'm sorry. We're going to talk about Cherry Fox later, too. Don't worry. We'll play both sides, okay? Even though we're all one. Good old Canadian kid, Braeden Cootes. Hit the like button. Oh, Canada. Look at me. I'm a face of Canada, right? I look like a Canadian. I'm saying this right now. It's a damn good thing we picked a good old Canadian boy with the first-round pick and not Marco Rossi way back when in July or end of June. My bad.
Kyle, I can see you just looking at this Canucks roster right now, especially down the middle, and you're like thinking Elias Pettersson, Filip Hronek, Aatu Ratu, Teddy Bluger, all Europeans. Where are the Canadians?
Hey, whoa, Trevor, don't speak for me, man. Hey, Trevor.
Hey, man, we're on this episode of Locked On Canucks. We're hyping up the centers. We're going to get to Filip Hronek on the other side, another standout from today. He also spoke to the media, but let us know in the comments or wherever you want to interact with us. Do you want to see Braeden Cootes get an addition with the Vancouver Canucks to start the regular season? Let's leave it up to you, the people. We'll be back on the other side to talk about Filip Hronek and more coming up on this episode of Locked On Canucks. All right, before we get back to the program, we got to shout out our friends over at FanDuel, baby. And FanDuel, they're always trying to help you out, especially those new customers, okay? And right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Looking at some player props today in terms of goals for next season for your Vancouver Canucks. In terms of over-unders for guys scoring 30 goals, Brock Besser, -165 on FanDuel. to get 30 goals next season. So FanDuel's saying that it's more likely than not that Best will hit 30. But Jake DeBrusk, the team's leading goal scorer last year with 28 goals, plus 410 on FanDuel to get to 30 goals next season. If you believe DeBrusk can get at least two more goals than last year, you could quadruple your bet on FanDuel. So whatever bet you're placing, make sure you go place it on FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. Any issues with gambling, we got the number for that in the description of our episode. But if you're locked, loaded, and ready to go visit FanDuel.com now to place your first $5 bet.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. Kyle Bowen and one of his good friends, Trevor Beggs, doing this, second best dad in the world. 23rd ranked reporter right now in Canucks media. You climbed up just a little bit. Good work today. Speaking of which, got to do the update. Got to check in on our friends. If you're listening to this, please check in on your friends. Trevor, you still feeling like a Canucks fan, or you feeling like a Canucks reporter? Because we got to make sure you're doing this right. We don't the Illuminati. You know what I'm saying? We don't want you to go to the other side completely. Okay?
No, man. I definitely still feel like a fan. I can't remember who I was talking to today, but I'm like, hey, man, we're all fans first. I said that to one of the media guys. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but that's certainly how I feel. I mean, come on. Like, I know just from being around reporters more, like some people have come from Toronto, taking jobs to cover the Canucks, much like Botchford actually did back in the day as well. But come on, most people covering this team, they want to see success, right? They want to see success in Vancouver. Sometimes that success is tied to people reading what they write or listening to what they say. But for me, man, I just want to see this team win. And yeah, everyone feels good in September. We'll see how it gets going when the season starts. Because reading some national media stuff, a lot of people doubting the Canucks this year, man. But hey, what did Barry Trotz say this year? Like, hopefully we can prove the critics wrong 3 years in a row. Maybe the Canucks should live by that too, right? Because a lot of people are doubting these guys right now.
A lot of people are, and if they are, it's okay. Winning fixes everything, and we've been asked for like 10 years plus almost, so it is what it is. But that being said, again, just go listen to the full 13 minutes or 11-minute interview or scrum that Thatcher Demko did yesterday. We touched on it a bit yesterday. I think Canucks Army posted it on YouTube. That's all the confidence you need. Like, I've completely changed my whole perspective on this Vancouver Canucks team after Demko and what he just gave out to the fan base. Like, he's a great leader, a great ambassador of the Canucks, and a highly talented guy, and he's healthy, and I'm super excited. Speaking of being highly talented and super confident, Filip Hronek, man. And, when I heard him speak today, super humble, not being too up, because he was asked about, the scenario involving the second line center position. And I think the question was kind of given the energy, like, people are doubting you that you can be the guy. And he answered it correctly. Like, just straight down the middle. I got work to do. Because again, he's only been a 40-point guy his whole career. So he's got work to do. But that being said, I just want to know, like, how did he look in day 2 today? Because, we already gloated about him yesterday and showed our appreciation and hopefulness for him. But all in all, like, on the ice, did you notice anything different?
To me, he was arguably the best player out there today. Now, in terms of my bias, I see more of the group that goes out first, because then you get kind of stuck doing media. So yesterday, Group A with Pettersson, Bestnall, then went out first, got a closer look at them. Group B kind of stuck doing media, but you're watching them. So today, Group B with Chytil is out first, so I got a closer look at them. And yeah, they were doing drills again. The ones I mentioned where Cootes was battling the Pettersson line. Chytil, picked Teddy Bluger's pocket and had a clear in when he was playing defense. And then he was one of the only guys to actually score when his line rush went on the offense, scoring 5-hole on Yuri Patera. But just looks clean with the puck. I mean, looks in position defensively. He looks quick out there. He talked about it, right? Having a full summer of training. I think actually one of the most interesting things he mentioned today was the fact that he really focused on trying to score more goals and referenced, the fact that he feels like he's been shooting the puck, but it's not showing up on the stat sheet. And like, why is that? So he said he worked on the tips. He worked on breakaways. Again, this guy already has breakout potential just based on the minutes. I mentioned it earlier this week, every day is no, but talking to Jay Fresh and guys who know the analytical side a lot better than me. A lot of the analytics guys are really high on Chytil because he does all the little things right? He creates chances. He shoots the puck a ton. He does tend to go to the dirty areas as well when you look at shots in tight or chances created in tight. There's a lot to like about Filip Hronek as long as he can stay healthy. And I think he's got the right attitude as well. I mean, whether it's the one-legged squats or just, getting married in the offseason, just all these things, man. He just feels like he's feeling good. And again, Kyle, like you alluded to, not trying to get too far ahead of himself. Just the concussions, I'm not thinking about that. You could be the second line center. I'm not thinking about that. But just kind of referencing, I just want to show up to the rink with a smile on my face, come in early, work hard, all that stuff. I like the smile on the face, man, because some of these guys don't smile enough. Just come in happy, man. You're playing in the freaking NHL, man. Just love your life. And Filip Hronek does seem to embody that.
No, I love the smiles, man. We need that as a fan base. Like, again, I'm not a kid anymore, but like, again, if I'm a kid and I'm watching Elias Pettersson get interviewed after having a shitty season and he's just like so serious and barely smiling, and sometimes I'm just like, yo, like, I don't know, like you want this guy to be your superhero, And Filip Hronek, like when you watch, if I was a young kid watching Filip Hronek getting interviewed because I'm addicted to the Canucks, like you start thinking to yourself, like, he could be like, a 70-point guy. You start thinking some crazy things too. Like, again, maybe I'm still a kid at heart, but Trevor, you brought up how like when JT Miller became a Canuck, before he became a Canuck, another former first-round talent who, the Rangers drafted, right, at the time. Like, JT Miller never broke out. Like, was he even a 60-point guy? I don't think so.
Yeah, I did look it up today, right? I was just finishing an article about Chytil before I hopped on here. JT Miller had a career high 56 points one season, but then he actually tailed off after that. And not due to injury like Chytil. So, yeah, I mean, look, Chytil kind of referenced it in a one-on-one with IMAC the other day. Like, he said, like, JT Miller came in around the same age as me, and look what he did, right? And, like, Chytil understands that, man. No, he knows. He's seen it. He knows that it's happened in Vancouver before. And look, man, I if he can stay healthy, and it's a big if, he kind of talked about he doesn't plan too far ahead now because you just don't know what can happen. But he's done all he can to be healthy, and Foot seems to want to change the zone entry style a bit to maybe protect his head a bit more. So, man, I'm honestly, Kyle, I was hyped about Filip Hronek coming into camp, and I'm walking away after 2 days, just even more excited about what this guy could potentially bring to the Canucks this season.
Because I'm assuming, again, training camp environment, you watch him pick up the puck, and I mean, is it safe to say that he's like the second or third most exciting Canuck with the puck? Like, I want to give Pettersson number 2, but isn't it Quinn Hughes and then Filip Hronek when they have the puck on their stick?
I think Nils Höglander is still up there. I mean, that guy is pretty sick and tight.
Okay, Trevor, I see what you're doing there. You just talked to Nils Höglander one-on-one. You just got, Trevor, relax. You're probably not going to have beers with this guy in a couple hours. Like, you chill out a bit. You don't got it. Come on, Trevor.
Yeah, I'm just answering the question honestly, man. I even kind of pressed Nils on that. Yeah, because anyways.
No. We're going to get to that in the third segment because, again, Beggsy's doing the good work. He's down there spreading positivity, man. Can everyone just give can you press a round of applause button? Because, again, your team Canucks. You're not team yourself. You're not your team Daily Hives, all that stuff. I get it. Your team Canucks, man. You're spreading that positivity. And, positivity wins. And look at this comment from Dan Jardine, okay? We're going to read a couple comments here on Locked On Canucks. Dan Jardine, the father of the program, okay, or the grandpa of the program, saying that Filip Hronek and MP3, Marcus Pettersson, are the team's feel-good merchants. Like, again, you guys already know the deal with me. I'm a huge JT Miller fan, and I do believe you can win with some of that puck you attitude. Of course I can. Of course I believe that. Look at Matthew Tkachuk and Sam Bennett and et cetera, right? You need some of that grit, right? But at the end of the day, based on how mean this environment was last year and how rotten it was. Come on. We're talking about real people here first before they go on the ice and play hockey. This team needed some friendly folk, some smiles around the rink, that positive attitude, no grumps, like taking up so much of the leadership quota in that room. And it could feel different now. Because again, JT Miller, not always smiling, but even Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson, like they're different types of leaders, they're not cracking the jokes and are being highly charismatic, and it's cool and all because you got to do your thing on the ice. That's when you do all the winning. But it's interesting to see, like, and as a Canucks fan, this is somewhat refreshing. And I'm curious to see how this looks because it seems as if it's inevitable that this team is going to be a lot tighter. I mean, Jake DeBrusk, Marcus Pettersson, they're going to be bigger leaders this year. And yeah, you got Filip Hronek. having this opportunity. And yeah, he's exciting on the ice. So if the happy guy in the room also is taking it coast to coast, do the math. That's team morale right there. Like, this team's going to be a tighter bunch.
100%, man. And again, bring the positive vibes to the rink. You got different leaders in there as well. Hey, man, good start of the Canucks season so far. And just like the hippie on the program, Dan Jardy, I'm just trying to bring that hippie energy to the rink, man. We'll be here to wrap up the show on the other side. What, man? We'll wrap up the show on the other side here on Locked On Canucks.
People, we back doing this, talking about your Vancouver Canucks. If you're listening to this on the podcast side of things and you're enjoying the program, hit us up with a 5-star review. I know that's us asking for a lot, and it's not even our birthdays, but honestly speaking, let's just be transparent with the people. Like, yo, we trying to find some advertisers for the show, make some cool commercials and whatnot, have a better Christmas. You know, I'm trying to buy my girl a purse for Christmas, and you know, a 4.2 star rating. I don't care. I think that's good enough, because I could care less, but advertisers don't like that. You can, help us out. You know, it's a team effort. Begsy's trying to help out the Vancouver Canucks by spreading the smiles in the dressing room. Give us some smiles and give us a 5-star review. Also hit the like button. And man, oh man, Trevor, we definitely got the best fans on the Canucks podcast side of things. Like, this is a really charismatic group here, and we got to meet these people in person. Maybe more on that down the road. And speaking of a fantasy, join the Discord, because Trevor's setting up that fantasy hockey league. We got to do the draft fairly soon. There's only 12 spots available. And remember the rules. We're not allowed to draft Oilers players. So if you want more info on that, no, you're laughing again. I don't know why you're laughing.
You know what, man? I'm not even sure if I can eliminate players from a specific team. I have to figure that one out.
No, you don't. No, it's just like one of those things.
It's just an unwritten rule, eh?
Yeah,
I could go so fast.
We're not cheering for McDavid and Draisaitl. This, come on, man, get out of here. Anyway, so let's get to some comments here on Locked On Canucks. Man, oh man. Did we favorite some comments? I'm all over the place on this episode. Supersonic South saying Braeden Cootes is absolutely going to be an elite center of the future, no doubt about it. Also, the Detroit Lions over the Green Bay Packers. There's no debate there. Why did I just read that?
Yeah, I don't know why you picked that, man. But hey, I'm down for it, man. Hey, there we go.
Yeah. Anyways, there's this comment also from Mother Nucker saying Taves is Captain Serious, so the moniker fits. I think there's some people in the comments, you know, either comparing like Quinn Hughes to Jonathan Taves, which I kind of get to, or even Braeden Cootes, for real. And I like it, man. Trevor, again, I like personality. I like having fun, but when I'm cheering for a sports club, and again, I just watched the movie Him. Ask me about that in a couple minutes. Dude, I enjoy cheering for a team that has a bunch of players who are just thinking about the sport when they get into the rink. No drama, no nothing else. They're just there to play hockey. And ultimately, they're there to win as a team and just get better. And I like having serious guys on the club, man.
I like having serious guys in the club and some not so serious guys in the podcast, man. That's the spicy meatball right there. A couple other thoughts I want to get to from training camp, and the commenters are teeing me up. Let's go to Callum Sandu first, saying Begsy, is Vilmer Ulrichsen invisible out there? Yes, big 6'6" Vilmer Ulrichsen got a shout out in the Athletics National article about rookies who stood out at NHL rookie camps. I wouldn't say he's been invisible out there, but this is an NHL training camp. He's not putting himself ahead of the competition. I mean, this is a guy who, if he goes to the AHL and has a good season, I mean, that's a successful season for Vilmer Ulrichsen. But the one time I did really notice him today, and this ties into top prospect Tom Melander, again, lots of intense battle drills today. Connor Garland, I think it took a stick to the face. He went off for repairs, and he was gone from the scrimmage after that. Tyler Myers got caught up high. He dropped his glove and was catching his face. Lots of tough battles out there. Quinn Hughes and Joe LeBate were going at him. Like, Joe LeBate, slow the F down, man. Come on. A big 6'5" Joe LeBate, former Canuck legend there. But back to Ulrichsen. Willander and Ulrichsen had a big battle in front. Willander lost his helmet, took down Ulrichsen. And, his teammates were kind of hollering at him. So shout out to Tom Willander, who, again, has showcased his speed here in training camp. I don't know if he's been a standout quite like Cootes has. Like right now, I'm feeling more like this guy should be in the AHL than the NHL. But man, oh man, for him to battle and take down Big Vilmar Alriksson in front, they probably did get tied up a little bit, but they were fighting hard. And for Willander to, be fighting with a guy like that and to hold his own was pretty impressive to me.
Trevor, I think you're misreading that situation. I don't know if you've read any books on Sweden. I know you're not much of a book reader anymore. They just called that a brouhaha. They were, just being friends, bro. Okay? All in all, though, I like the intensity. And, bro, speaking of intensity and Alriksson, I see these comparisons, right? Like, because there's offensive flash to his game and whatnot. And I think there's some intrigue and some curiosity when it comes to, like, what type of player he's going to be in the NHL. And one comparison that I like to make based on what I've seen, and I've seen very little of him. I'm just looking at the size, and I'm also just like hearing about his tenacity is, ironically, Dakota Joshua.
Yeah, it's an interesting comparison there. It's still early days for that, I think, to be honest with you. But yeah, we'll see. Like, again, I want to see Vilmar Alriksson play pro hockey first, right? I mean, it wasn't like he was really tearing it up in the CHL, despite putting up some good numbers. But he looked great at rookie camp. And again, he's kind of been lost in the shuffle here. But at the end of the day, he's going to play in Abbotsford this year, and I can't wait to see it. Okay, another comment. Oh man, do I answer this question from Bob Luger? Okay, all right. Bob Luger saying, Begsy, what's it like at nighttime up there when all you media stars put the bike down? Kyle's cutting me off.
Yeah,
no, there's nothing to say. Kyle knows. I was walking along the lakefront and I talked to Kyle yesterday.
Yeah. So ironically, Trevor, after he went out for did his thing. I'm not gonna kiss and tell for Trevor. That's not what I do out here. We're not gonna throw it. It's not. Hey, that Trevor's part of the media, but we don't. Hey, Trevor's got to pay the bill, so we ain't saying much. Okay, come on. All in all, though, what are the chances? I'm outside sitting on a rock, looking towards the water, thinking about the Canucks because that's all I do. And all of a sudden, Trevor Beggs calls me out of nowhere because he never calls me outside of work hours. And he's like, I'm just walking by a lake and I was thinking about you, bro. Like, well, come on, man. That's chemistry right here, man. That's chemistry right there. What are the chances? It's pretty much 0 to a million, considering that, Trevor, again, is more of a colleague than a friend. And it is what it is. That's life, man. Hey, when you get to our age, 32 and a half years old, things happen, okay? Next comment. Excuse me. I do want to talk about Terry Fox and the movie Him and Francesco, the Aquilini family. Just give me some time. But I like this comment from Kevin K, okay? Is anyone going to pick Dylan, Kevin, Drew O'Connor in this fantasy league? I mean, what the F do we have in DOC when we have Sasan and Carlson? And nothing against Drew O'Connor or Dylan O'Connor or Kevin O'Connor. But again, I said it yesterday. I forgot that this guy was on the team. And there's been 2 days of camp. And I haven't seen one guy tweet about the most boring man in hockey. And this guy signed a 2-year extension at $2.5 million. Probably a reason why we got rid of Dakota Joshua. And to be honest, I'm not even trying to completely hate because when he played games last year for the Canucks, I liked what I saw. I'm just saying that I haven't heard anything about this guy. So what have you seen, Trevor? Everyone wants to know how Dylan, Drew, Kevin O'Connor's playing at training camp.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that's I don't know if I have much to share on that one. I'm trying to even remember who you played with.
What's up with that, man?
He's a fourth line guy on the Canucks, right? He's not.
But they paid him $2.5 million.
But you're right. Like, guys like I would say Linus Karlsson stood out to me. But part of it is, again, when you got 55 guys out there on the ice, you are paying attention to guys that are more on your radar. And Drew O'Connor is definitely a guy that's flying under the radar right now because he expected to be a fourth line guy. He's going to be an important guy in the penalty kill, I think, and they're not going to practice special teams until maybe day 4. But he's just another dude, man. And I think maybe that's good for a guy like that to fly under the radar. Maybe has another greatest finishing ability. Maybe he wants to kind of fly under the radar and surprise people. Maybe my next one I want to be Drew O'Connor, and then the one I want to talk to the most forgotten man on the Vancouver Canucks.
No, can you write that article? Like, honestly, the most boring, forgettable dude in hockey, Kevin O'Connor. No, please, no. I actually want to. Can you please actually do a one-on-one with Drew O'Connor? Like, I actually want to know more about this guy because I want to stop bullying him based on the fact that, again, he wasn't bad for the Canucks last year. Like, in my opinion, at his peak, he is a $2.5 million player. Like, can he keep his peak up consistently? I don't know. That's hard. That's kind of like the difference between like a fringe NHLer and a Tim Schaller to like a real good bottom six player. Like, again, there's a difference there. But all in all, it's fascinating to me. Okay, Trevor, it really is. Like, haven't heard one thing from. If he did not play for the Canucks this year, I don't think anyone would bring it up. Like, oh, didn't we like have a guy named Kevin O'Connor on our team? Anyways, man, oh man, can we talk about some other things on Locked On Canucks? Do you have like 5 or 7 more minutes?
Yep.
I want to pick your brain about a couple things. Let's run the segment called "What the Puck."
I thought this was a Canucks show.
Ito, this WISA Canucks show.
Okay, this is part of the show where we talk about things other than the Canucks. Sometimes it's hockey related. Sometimes it isn't. And I got a couple questions, okay? Or a couple thoughts, more so than anything. And I want the comments to get involved here because I feel as if most of us are from BC, right? Trevor, as an adult, do you feel like it should be mandatory for all Canadians, especially this should happen now because it's divisive times in Canada. I feel as if more and more people are like not together. Do you think it should be mandatory for adults to also run the Terry Fox run? Because as kids, from like 5 years old to all the way to 18, we're doing it. Like, we have no choice to do it, and it's a great time. Let's be honest. Terry Fox is the greatest Canadian of all time. It's Jim Carrey, Drake, Masari, and then all the way up there, it's Terry Fox. Like, he's the GOAT. He's the leader. He's like the face of Canada. He's what Canada's all about. And for whatever reason, Trevor, like, we graduate high school, and I'm going to say it, most of us, 90% of us, just stopped doing that run. And I'm speaking to myself. It's like, I feel like that's not good enough. Terry Fox deserves way more than that. And it should be like a holiday or something. Or, we should all get time off sometime in September to do that run and show some support. Donate some money, sure. But just universally speaking, this is the Deepak Chopra in me. Like, yo, let's always, as Canadians, show love to Terry Fox.
Yeah, it's a great point because I think, you want to instill or teach kids about how great Terry Fox was. And you remember doing the Terry Fox run as a kid, obviously. You're making me kind of sad, to be honest, because my daughter's Terry Fox run was today and I missed it because I'm up here doing training camp. So I do got to make that up somehow. But yeah, maybe I'll go for a run on the Penticton water tonight. I'll go streaking in Penticton. No, that's not appropriate. I'll go for a Terry Fox run tonight.
Yeah, and honestly, like, it would be fun. It would be fun, like, for adults once a year, and it'd be interesting. It'd be different because, like, everyone's got bills to pay and everyone has to work. But if we could just like take time off to feel Canadian, all of us collectively feel Canadian outside of July 1st, but by doing something like that, again, running on behalf of Terry Fox, it would be cool as hell. It'd be different. Again, we don't have to think about the economy, our bills, or all this. Like, we're all neighbors, we're all community, and I don't know, something about just not running after 18 years old, the Terry Fox run is just like, it's confusing to me. It's like, we should be honoring him no matter what. Now, anyways, one love to Terry Fox. I don't know if you guys have any stories about Terry Fox in the comments, but just post it below because I don't know. Every September, we just gotta remember, again, the greatest Canadian of all time. I guess on the next front, I want to talk about just briefly the Aquilini thing. Like, if you guys Google Aquilini today on Google and just read the article that pops up, because there's more noise about that family and why Paulo might have left and all this jazz. And I don't want to get into the specifics because everything is like allegedly, right? And I'm not the smartest guy in the world and whatnot. But I do have a message for the family, okay? Yo, you guys at the end of the day, I know money's finicky and money's the root of all evil, and business is business, and business with family it's tough. It's crazy. And a lot of moving parts when there's that much money, when there's billions and billions and billions and that much land. Like, stuff's going to happen. Bullshit's going to happen. That being said, can you guys stop making it a little bit more embarrassing to be a fan of the Vancouver Canucks? Because you guys represent the whole city. You guys own real estate, sure. You guys own land. You guys own businesses. You guys own restaurants. Congratulations. Great investments, family lineage, nepotism. Congratulations. Awesome. Dude, honestly, I want to have not that much power for my family, but I'd love to spread the wealth to my kids and all that stuff, all my cousins. That's a dream of mine. But you guys represent the city of Vancouver. You guys represent Canucks fans everywhere. Stop with the bullshit, please. Can y'all do that? And if you guys can't do that, please think about selling the team, because I read what I read today, and I'm like, I'm so sick and tired of noise about the Vancouver Canucks. Obviously, this noise isn't specific to the Vancouver Canucks and its players and the standings and what they're going to do as a team. But, karma's a real thing. It really is. And it's like, enough is enough. Please stop embarrassing us, because you guys represent us. Like it or not, that's the life you guys chose when you bought the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's we're trying to dig into it ourselves more. It's obviously there's been a lot of stuff reported today. The one thing I will say is that, again, like you said, Kyle, when you own the Vancouver Canucks, you're representative for the Vancouver Canucks, and this kind of noise is not good. If you want to hear more of our thoughts about Canucks ownership, we did have a pretty funny episode in the summer about potential owners of the Canucks. Then we mentioned like Seth Rogen and Ryan Reynolds. So check that one out if you want to hear more bullshit from Kyle and I about who should own the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, man, and just enough's enough, man. Like just come on, man. It's just getting stupid and annoying, and I just want to win. And sometimes when I read stuff like that, I'm like, maybe this is why the Canucks are cursed. Honestly speaking, real talk. The last thing I want to talk about on this segment called What the Puck, extended episode of Locked On Canucks. Everyone hit the like button, share it, show the love. I watched the movie Him. Okay, have you seen the trailer for the movie Him? It's like a horror football movie. That's kind of how it was marketed.
Really?
Produced by Jordan Peele.
Oh, is okay, all
produced
right.
by him. I don't think it's written by him. All in all, though, I'm not gonna spoil the movie, but I will say there were moments in that movie where, like, fans were like trying to kill an athlete. Like everything was like poetic, right? It was like metaphoric. And Trevor, you and I had this conversation a long time ago when we did vegetables, right? And I was like, why do I criticize Elias Pettersson so much? Like, why can't I just relax? Like, it's just a game. He's doing his best out here, and it was cool in the film too, because it also kind of showed how like the athlete may want to kill the fan too. And I'm not saying kill literally. I'm just metaphorically speaking. It's a damn movie, but it just made me think about my fandom in sports and how sometimes I get super aggressive and super annoyed and feel like I'm owed something. It made me think a lot. That was the first time I watched a movie alone, and I wish I had you with me, Trevor, because why are you looking at me like that? Well,
You're 32 and a half years old, and that was the first time you've ever watched a movie alone?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, is that a normal? Like, going to the movie theater?
I just feel like most regular people have watched movies by themselves at some point. Oh, like in the theater?
Yeah, like in the theaters.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
is that new? Come on, I'm too obsessed with sports to know like the rest of the pop culture stuff. But okay, I get what you're saying now. I haven't seen a movie by myself once or twice, I think, but.
That's why I watched the movie, because I'm in love with sports, and I'm like, this seems kind of cool. And I don't know, like, again, I watched it, and it made me question like how I'm a fan and how passionate I get, and how that sometimes turns into like such blatant open criticism towards like another man and his goals in life, and how serious he's taking it. Like we'll say things like, is Elias Pettersson even happy? He's like, shut up. How do you even know? Are you happy? I don't know. It was one of those moments, Trevor. I had a bit of an epiphany yesterday, and I don't know. Maybe that's gonna lead to like different podcasts in this year. I don't know, but all in all, being a fan is, in my opinion, a luxury, man. It's a blessing, straight up. And to keep it simple, it's definitely a first world problem at times.
100%. And, I don't even think it's a problem, but it's a blessing to be able to do this. Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every day. Appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. If you like what we're doing, like Kyle said, you can subscribe and like on YouTube. On the podcast side, screw the advertisers, but my daughter's 5th birthday is coming up. I'll have 5 stars for my daughter's 5th birthday. All right. That's all I ask, man. That's the present to my daughter. Boom, bam. That's about it, man. Day 2 of training camp in the books. Scrimmage tomorrow. I'll be here in Penticton. And Kyle and I will catch you soon here on Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.